for a physical damage dealer and has to be mid-game oriented. Up against this strategy here from Team Liquid, because they've got a Morphling, they've got a Tinker, Shadow Shaman as well. Like, this is every single hero on their team goes in a late game really well.
Would you believe the first thing that's really coming to my mind is a Blade Mail Axe?
10 seconds.
No, you can force that one. Rubik now comes up from Team Liquid as their last one. They didn't go full grid and pick up something like an Enigma or the Enchantress and take him jungle. Instead, they're going to get another hero who's very strong in his control. And this could even be their aggro try. Up against a Wisp as well as a Dazzle. Rubik, Shadow Shaman. I know Shadow Shaman's not really that great in the offlane, but when you got a Morphling and a Rubik there, they may have the confidence to do it.
Yeah, he's good single target damage. He's got a good Hex, and as well as... so the Cloud9 go...
I was worried. I was worried to do this. Work. But the problem is, if this is an aggro try, they can completely shut down the Spectre in the early stages. And Bulba is his Tinker. He loves it. He's going to be there in the middle lane, free farming himself up, and then it's going to rotate him with March Machines Rockets. So all this early farm, if Spectre doesn't have, and I hate to put pressure on Eternal Envy like this, but if he doesn't have his Radiance almost completely done by the time the BT control comes up from Bulba, and that means Bulba walking around with Bottle, Soul Ring, and BTs with another Talisman. If he has that up and running before we get the Relic over on Eternal Envy, because they just can't control. They can't have a Spectre being that influential inside the game.
Yeah. Bulba Tinker is pretty legendary. Have you seen like the I want to call it a rivalry between Koifa and Bulba over who's the better Tinker? It's they had a little Twitter back and forth where both of them were arguing about their Tinkers, because Koifa is a very good Tinker player as well. So that was a reference to that. Oh wow. Stop.
I waited for so damn long for that, and now it's just like, well, they wouldn't have. And that means now denied.
Oh, fluff and stuff. You should have taken that auto attack and not tried to give that 50 gold to Way 2. Did you see him? He stopped his auto attack and he's like, you know what? No, Way 2, you place down the counter ward. You go ahead. You take the gold.
What a good room for C9. Okay, so the way C9 can do this, and you know how I talked about like BT Tinker getting him up to a really great point. 6/6 Mirana, it's going to buy that space for Eternal Envy to get the fun, which I'm talking about. Now, he needs to have a very good start. With the DD rune to kick off his lane, he's going to have a great time up on this top. Pylite and him together up against 3 heroes is obviously not that great, but they should be able to survive and still find some decent CS. While in the middle lane, a Puck going up against a Tinker, it's not as bad as it could be, because you don't really care about having the laser hit you, because you just then use your orb to attack and get the last hits in.
Yeah. Middle, and that's the biggest thing I'm concerned about, because Bulba's Tinker is going to be the linchpin for this strategy. If Bulba is able to provide enough turtling factor going into the mid game that they get Morphling to a good position, they don't give away too many towers, then they should be fine. But it's really going to be the mid game, I feel, for Cloud9. I think they're going to be getting pretty aggressive with this Spectre, whether it's a Radiance or whether it's a more aggressive build. We have to see.
This Observer Ward must get sentry.
Yeah.
There's no way for C9 to get a kill on bottom lane. You're not going to rely on the 5% movement speed change coming out from the Spectre's dagger to slow down Koifa.
No.
Find some, he's just found level 2.5 down here on the bottom lane. He's even got 2 for 2 up against a Spectre who's 3 for 3. Like, this is 1 minute and 40 seconds in, you have 3 for 3 on a Spectre. Something is wrong on this bottom lane. This is not the speed of farm which Spectre requires to win.
notorious for a lack of lane presence, so aggressive tri-lanes or even strong off-laners can really, really mess with you, and the fact they're running dual lanes means Aoi is not going to be strong enough by himself, because again, like you said, the dagger isn't enough, so it's pretty much just Dazzle by himself trying to keep out a Batrider. And that's pretty tough. I mean, Poison Touch, if you get it to level 3, yeah, it's a good single target ability, but before then, it's a small amount of damage, and it's never going to keep Koifa away from experience. So I predict Koifa going to have another great game, and that's going to be really, really important for Team Liquid establishing early pressure on the...
Oh, they may have an opening right now. Pylite Die can be picked up. The shackles available. He got the tether off in time, so he's pulled away, but with a Morphling waveform in, TC will grab the first blood here, and Sing Sing just lost a friend.
We keep bringing up the potential aggressive tri-lane whenever we see a Morphling is because he actually has a lot of laning presence. Like, his nuke is just as strong as every other nuke coming out from a support. 100 damage, perfect, right? At level 1, that's really, really good damage. But on top of that, it puts you in a really good position to get in a few more auto attacks. So it is essentially an extra 200 damage from just that one nuke. So it's why, you know, potential for aggressive tri-lanes, if you're dealing with weak lanes coming in from the enemy team, it's a possibility. So you see it right there. Him being able to add the finishing touch to finishing off that first blood is going to put TC in a good position. Wonder whether or not we're going to see a Midas coming out from him, though.
In this game, I would prefer not to.
Yeah, same.
Just because Liquid, they want to fight early on. Once Koifa has his Blink Dagger up and running, they need to be able to have that Morphling in the front lines. Not just sitting back and farming up. Bulba's going to buy into the space, so you could technically try and run ahead of Midas over on TC, but if you're going to do so, you wouldn't have the Ring of Basilius. It just doesn't make as much sense. So this is going to be a Ring of Aquila style build out for a Morphling, and from there on in, like, he can go in anything he really wants to. But it's got to be early game fighting more than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a shotgun build is what we're going to be seeing here. It's just the possibility of first blood. It's such a big increase to your gold that maybe you do consider a Midas, though Midas is not great for Morphling as many other heroes. So I think you're right. I think it's going to be a Ring of Aquila into Linken's into eventual shotgun that is going to be able to have a lot of presence going into the mid game to shut down a lot of squishy heroes. Like Mirana and Puck are a high impact, but if they get initiated on by a high amount of burst damage like that, it completely knocks them out of the fight, potentially even knocks them out of the fight entirely by killing them. And TC may be you know, going in 30-35 minutes, be enough to control the game that it doesn't matter how much farm Spectre gets.
Yep. Observe what I can't. I want to emphasize it more, but I don't think I can after everything I've said about it. It saved Koifa's life again. Another rotation coming in. Envy is still just looking for a great initiation with more sticks as well as daggers. They're harassing him down because there's just so many stick charges. Spectre's throwing out so many daggers because he's getting stick charges from every single napalm. But Koifa doesn't really care about that. Like, he gets ticked down a decent amount with his death.
Yeah, even if he dies here, he's picked up enough experience that I would call his off lane pretty successful.
Envy, be careful how far you go in there. No stick charges for a dagger, which means he couldn't have walked over the top of the tree line. And if we had Bulba just TP in the front lines here and was able to get a March and Machines off, Envy would just lose his life right now. And they cannot afford to lose this Spectre. No matter what happens here, Envy must survive. And they also have to get him level 6.
Yeah.
Envy needs to be able to start being part of these fights. He needs to start ganking up to get this quick injection of gold. Because right now, Bulba, he's 33 for 8 in the middle lane. He's zoning out Bone 7 with March Machines up at level 3. He's still got a haste rune up his sleeve, so they can't even gank him up to try and slow him down. But he's 700 or so gold away from having BTs. This is the time when C9 lose all control. Sing Sing up here on the top lane, just maybe 1-2 levels up in rockets, and Sing Sing will be forced out this top lane. Even with Pilot Eye sitting there to support him. They don't have Bottle running between the two of them right now. They're trying to leech off the experience from the pulls all the time here from Fluff as well as Way Too Sexy, which they've done a really good job. They've kept these support heroes of Team Liquid at a quite nice low position. Same with also TC. But TC's about to crack his level 6, so he'll be fine. It's to me like the C9, they're battling up against the clock, but they're not doing anything to deal with it. And KO's almost picking up his Blink Dagger as well. Oh, damn.
Well, I think that Cloud9's period of time is more of the 10 to 15 minute mark.
Oh, they might get free gold right now.
Yeah.
Sing Sing as well as Pilot Eye. They've rotated around. They're going to find way too sexy now. Sing Sing, he's going to connect this arrow. What they may not know is the fact that we've still got... Okay, there's this Spectre Horn. Pushed way too into a corner. Whisper get the kill with his balls. They see KO's room behind him. But then there's more support coming in. Bulba, that's a wonderful AWP through Fluff. While Pilot Eye died, the attack from Batrider follows him down the river. That Dream Call Fluff. He didn't want to walk too far away. Because if he got a hit, he would have gone down. And kill off. MV picks himself up a support kill for that one. I think he really wanted the last hit just on the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah. Really aggressive. About the time that Boots of travels up on Tinker, they're gonna have to be really, really aggressive. Oh, top TC. He was getting pretty ballsy there, trying to go on Sing Sing. And a Wisp like that, but he's still farming up really, really well. I mean, take a look at his ZS, 40 and 10. Between the two carries and the two mids, this is completely neck and neck right now.
It's almost all three are sitting at almost exactly 40 for 10 apart from Bolt, which is a little bit further ahead with a couple of last hits.
Yeah. The big difference being, though, that KOIFA is way far ahead because he's just about to pick up his Blink Dagger. He's going to grab it, grab a TP scroll, and his rotations here are going to be pretty free.
He should TP top. Arrow just connected on TC. Tether in, they're going to bring those spirits in, but the strength morph is enough damage and Fluff and stuff. He TP'd in. At the same time, I'm seeing Bulba with full BTs up and running, so support is always available for Team Liquid when C9 try to initiate. They've got to get burst killers.
Yeah.
There's going to be 5-second arrows into proper kills. This is the only way I'm seeing C9 getting the upper hand. And Bone7, he needs this Blink Dagger.
Dagger on Puck are going to be the two biggest things for Cloud9 because they can't just run at towers. They have to get pickoffs. They have to find initiation. So Bone7, once he has a Blink Dagger, he's able to have the initiation to be able to set up kills for Eternal Envy to pop his ultimate and basically clean up everybody who's caught in the coils. So Bone7 and
Smoke. Firefly, Blink Lasso, and now drawing him straight back up. And with no leap available, Highlight die. He's got no relocate. Just trying to keep Sing Sing alive as long as possible with the Morphling waveform in. There's more support coming in. Spectre gonna ulti up. Who's he reality to? Fluffer stuff is rather low, and they're trying to pick up KOIFA. Nice orb up by Puck. Able to get a revenge kill. Then in for the waveform. Nice adaptive strike. Revenge kill again. Goes one way, then the other. Eternal Envy, the dagger lets him go over the cliff line. Puck will have to die to try and keep his main carry alive. Through that engagement. And really, Eternal Envy achieves very little from coming up to that top lane. Team Liquid is still full control. Full control. Even in that fight, they have full control.
You have to be initiating on Bulba. Like, unless Bulba is arriving late to the team fight, like he has to teleport in before he gets the marching machines going. Otherwise, if Bulba's already there, you have to be initiating on him. It has to be a very clear-cut and dried jump in, silence him, throw down a Dream Coil, grab a couple of heroes with that, then pop the Eternal Envy Spectre ultimate, and try and clean up from there. Because otherwise, you saw it. Bulba popped March and Machines twice, and that team fight was over.
Yep.
You cannot fight underneath that.
And I think a lot of people might be losing Rare tonight. Even just judging off the betting over on joinDOTA, 87.98% of people said that Cloud9 would take the victory this evening.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all for that. It's 27-73 on Dota 2 Lounge.
Yeah, I think Rares were lost. I think Rares were definitely lost this evening. Okay, let's look at the way they can get back into this, man. Let's look at the way. How is Spectre doing? Okay, not that great. He's now going into a Vanguard early on. So this readiness has just been massively delayed. To a point where I don't even think he can complete it in this game. This is almost going to be a transition into Vanguard Diffusal.
For a Phase Boots drum build, because that's a really, really aggressive build on Spectre that tries and uses that Desolate damage early on to have a lot of pressure, but he's going a tankier build, and that makes sense up against a Morphling and a Tinker. There's a lot of possibility of getting popped, so if he can just tank up through that, he can do a decent amount, but it's not enough pressure.
Every set. Blink, lasso, dragging him back. The 2 TPs was coming on the way, but they're going to be another Firefly. It's a good dream call from Bone7, giving some extra control. Envy staying alive. That heal from Howie 2000. They're going to pick off Fluffer stuff down here. The Mass Serpent Ward did not make it easy for the rest of the team to fight, but now Spectre Haunt is looking at way too sexy. He's the lowest one on the field right now. Way too. Morphling waveforms in. There's your orb with the shock. Dream Coil. No, I mean not Dream Coil. Face shifts himself away, but with the blink dagger from Koifa, he can keep up with the puck. Cloud9, even though they lose the puck, Eternal Envy was able to pick up a kill. He didn't die.
And they got a tier 1. Sing was not in that team fight. He popped Moonlight Shadow, but he was just pushing in top, getting them that extra bit of gold. So that was actually really, really good team fight for them. Bought them just a little bit more time. However, Liquid are still in full control of this game, and it shows that now they're pushing in this bottom lane. Bulba's already backed up to the fountain and now gone to top where he's defending this push. He's getting a lot more farm, and he's about to have his maxed out nukes, and that's really, really dangerous. He now has a blink dagger, so your opportunity to shut him down when you see him teleporting in is completely gone, because you always shift queue up your blink dagger after Boots of Travel, so it's really, really hard to get the jump on him.
I really don't understand how they're supposed to control this game anymore. I really, really don't.
Yeah, it had to be right after the Boots of Travel's picked up. If you can't make those early rotations, you didn't have the supports for it, then it has to be a lot of ganking from Bone7 and going for Tinker and shutting him down and trying to be aggressive with the Spectre. But they didn't get to it. A couple good team fights, and all of a sudden, Bulba's so far ahead. Like a Blink Dagger and Boots of Travel by 13.5 minutes in is really, really fast farm.
Yeah, it's... I was thinking 13 minutes in, he'd hit everything without the blink dagger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there should have been some level of control, some ganking coming his way, or something like that in the middle lane, but... there, and again, it's almost this Wisp pickup coming in from Cloud9. You can understand it with up against a hero like a Batrider. Because you know you're able to at least save your teammates all the time, but...
Yeah, Pielight is known for being the bane of Batriders everywhere with those relocate plays and interrupting the tether. I mean, he's the one who really innovated that strategy. But
the problem is with the Wisp, when you run him in this manner, you don't really get much more out of it. And he ended up being like the death on the top lane. That was the first blood going the way of Team Liquid. And, you know, he's got 4 deaths to his name and managed to drag out 1 kill. The Wisp just brings nothing really to the fights anymore apart from a relocate, which you don't really need for a Spectre or a Mirana, because you've got Leap, Moonlight Shadow, as well as Haunt. So, I get a funny feeling that C9, just on the second part of the pick phase during the draft, found themselves back. And they felt that because the Morphling, because of the Tinker, they were forced to go into something like this dual selection. Fluffer stuff, he's going to get nuked in the middle lane, which is really nice, and there's Spectre Haunt, so able to feed in the last kill. Also get some good vision on the rest of Team Liquid's positioning. Bottom lane, even though there's a replicate available, so we can go back to base and just come straight back out again anyway.
Yeah, this is still them using Spectre's ultimate Haunt, which has a really, really long cooldown.
Top lane, this is a big pick-off. They can finish him off. Pielight died though! Mirana's able to get the kill over on Bulba, and Pielight just got himself out of range of the March of the Machines. That's a big, big pick-off.
Bottom, they need to take this tier 1 tower while Bulba is dead.
Yep.
30 seconds to take it. You add in a couple more seconds for setup.
Koifa caught him out. He was trying to TP out the short range arrow, but Shadow Shaman comes in to kill secure with the Ether Shock. When you're worth as much as it was before.
Starting bottom right now. He's pulling the creep wave off of the tower. And this is preventing them. Bone7, he's playing this patiently. He really needs a pick off on TC right now.
And there's the jump into silence. He doesn't want to commit the dream call as well, but he is going to. But with the double TPs coming to the bottom lane, Bulba comes in, lasers, rockets, most of it hits Owie, but he knows he can keep his teammates alive for now. Just going.
Yeah, honestly, I think they had to commit all 3 heroes immediately just auto-attacking the tower and try and take it down, because It's still standing, and any standing tower is really, really good for a tanker because you have so much more map control, especially with that blink dagger up. You always have that defensive outpost to be able to rely upon, whether it's responding to ganks, relocate top though.
Well, that's an easy way to do it when the arrows are connect, and one last off. Also, Rubik will find himself down in the top lane. That just... Okay, it was middle lane, and he leaves Sing Sing behind. So Aoi 2000 has space up in the middle lane, up against TC. A bit of time before Roshan is attempted by Team Liquid. Considering they still have mass Serpent wards available from Way Too Sexy, we've seen them cast once behind the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, but no other times where these wards used as pressure. So they want to be used as a filter more than anything else. 4-star over on the Bat Rider with the ability to have mass amounts of march machines over the pit. The Morphling just needs an extra tanker that can give him the space to bring down Roshan.
Yeah, this is the Shadow Shaman pickup is more for the late game. You don't have nearly the same pushing power because the rest of your team isn't going to be able to supply that pushing power to you. They have good pickoff with a Bat Rider, but that's pretty much the only pushing power to talk about. Tanker's a little bit more defensive in nature, and then you have a Morphling who is not here at all. He's just split pushing. That's his job right now. Is just trying to farm up Lincolns. So.
That's on both of our ends as well.
Yeah.
And that's two different internet lines. So we say servers are having some problems right now. Have happened. Okay, and we'll end up. Yeah, there's our pause, and we never DC'd out, but the pause is there. At the same time,
we won 3v1. Nice.
Well, I'm looking at the top lane, which is actually a 4v1. Once everyone gets back inside. Now, I don't know if TC has vision here. Considering Paradise is still inside the smoke, yeah, that's a no. That's the vision of TC coming into where he is. Pylite Die, however, also doesn't see him. That line right there, I don't know if I can't draw on it when it's paused, but with the green bar right now, that's the line of sight onto TC. One tree that's just sitting here. So once TC walks around that corner, Paladai will see him, and they can turn and initiate. If they can kill him off, however, that's a whole different kettle of fish. But his replica's on cooldown, so that's one upside.
Yeah, and Puck has maxed out Waiting Rift by now, so that's really, really good. Silence up against him, so they should be able to take him down here as long as TC doesn't immediately back up right away.
Well, let's watch the positioning. So TC moves forward, Paladai gets his smoke revealed, and now they got a ton of fight. Blink in, there's already the Dream Coil as well. Very, very quick execution.
Oh,
Tunnel seems to be... I don't know why Reality didn't down here. This is...
on Rubik. Number one ability to steal.
Yeah.
Grandis Magus is everywhere. And now Roshan, they're going to use wards. So this is pretty much the only function of wards early game for Liquid is taking Roshan. It's not for Ancients. There's no Ancient stacking because Tinker's clearing through all of that. There's not a whole lot of pushing going down from this team early on. It's just going to be Roshan, and he's just a really good late game support. So for now...
Yeah. And this is going to be easy work here for Team Liquid. They do lose the tier 2 tower on the top lane as a trade-off for it all, but having an Aegis Immortal over on a Morphling is more than worth it. If they kill off Aoi 2000 too...
Yeah, they can't go for it. They know there's going to be rotations in from Cloud9, and Shallow Grave from Aoi would be able to give him enough survivability, potentially even let him teleport back to base during that timer. So
I think C9 is going to go man mode here. I don't know how successful they're going to be at this as we get ourselves... Nah, the pause is coming out. It is one thing, though, which you got to take into account. Like, March Machines is one of these things where we normally just say, okay, you're never going to be able to take a team fight with March Machines up. Fighting underneath, like, 2 waves of March Machines is almost impossible. Right. But having someone like a Dazzle in the middle of that lineup, giving your entire team heals, and if you have your core hero going in a little bit deeper, give that hero Shallow Grave. You can fight him, but...
Yeah, but in general, the March of Machines is too powerful in 5-man engagements. So I think it is still going to be really, really rough for Cloud9, and that was always my biggest concern was once the Tinker is fully online, how are you actually going to be taking objectives? Because you don't want to just let Team Liquid play defensively. And once they have a shotgun up on Morphling, he's going to be able to address the Spectre, even if you do go for, which it's not going to be a Radiance build. We're going for a much tankier build. He went Yasha. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how this Spectre is supposed to be making. Like, my idea was phase boost drums and get really, really aggressive with that, right? Try and use Desolate damage to be able to provide a lot of early team fight.
Yep.
This tankier build, I can understand up until a certain point. How is Spectre actually going to be able to output damage once it's 25 minutes in, 30 minutes in? Like, I don't see this Yasha build really going into anything else. I thought he was going for Radiance.
Well, he's blaming on the lag as well. But yeah, I'm with you on the Radiance or Diffuser Blade. It had to be the two choices here. There's just no other way to do it. You had to burn off the mana of TC, or you had to burn off the life points of the Rubik and the Shadow Shaman.
Right.
Or put the Blink Dagger on cooldown for Bulba. These were really the primary focuses of the Spectre in this game. But with the Yasha, you can't even be doing like, oh, I have Mana Star Radiant split push abilities, because you don't have the Radiance. Like, it's lacking from your fight.
To the Spectre pickup, I think you had very, very limited possibilities with a Spectre. Like, Spectre's build is actually pretty open, but in this game specifically, I think there are very, very few things that you can look at and go, this item build will be really, really effective. I think no matter what you go, if you go for a fast Radiance, you're going to get bursted down by Tinker, by Shadow Shaman, even by Morphling later on. If you go for a little bit later Radiance, it's less effective, obviously, at that point. You go for Diffuser.
Jump in, Bone 7 very quickly awake, but just blinking, it's just half a second too early just then. I was really worried the Pug was just going to escape back out again. Actually, I think I understand why MV's doing what he's doing. 2000. If you remember the days of Valley 2000 being a hard carry, he used to always get, like, when you're in trouble, you do it a lot on heroes like Phantom Lancer, for example. You get this Yasha, and he sees it as a huge mechanism to farm more.
It is a very, very good farming item. Yasha is one of the more effective gold to damage ratios when it comes to, because you get so much agility, you get a pretty good attack speed as well. It's cheap. You don't have to really buy too much extra. It's very easy to build. It's a really, really good farming item. I understand that, but at the same time, I just see this game going late enough where Morphling is about to be online. He already finished up the Lincolns. It's the same thing as a Weaver. The faster you get a Lincolns means the faster you get that second item effective.
Well, he found Bone 7. Quirk going to get the last shot here, and they drag him back. They use the haunt of Rubik. And then he ended up stealing the face shift of all things from the Puck. So, Haunt used by... I was like looking at a 10-11 when I heard the Haunt sound. I'm like, wait, what's going on? It's like, no. It's a Grand Magus.
Enjoying the drafting coming up from Liquid so far, but they do need to... I do kind of feel that they're controlling the game well right now, that I think they should be trying to take some of the outer towers right now. I think they're far enough ahead that with the Lincolns up on Morphling, he's a pretty safe team fighter right now. He can join them.
With relocate coming in. They're trying to kill off Lumpus up right now, and maybe with some extra movement, but the face shift, he's actually able to dodge out the arrow, but he cannot dodge the full DPS coming out from C9. Sing, but they come back into pain. Pilot Eye settlement in Sing. No leap of Bubble, Star falls, and he goes down. What was a nice pick-off over on the support hero ends up with a core hero and their primary physical DPS in the mid-game going down, plus the Wisp support.
Adjusting those relocates. And again, it's just the power of the Spectre last pick is that we don't really see, like, there's not a good relocate strategy.
Bone 7, free gold. Free gold. The Observer Ward that was planted aggressively up here just let him set up perfectly. And he saw Bat right low, jumps in, easy. Rift, coil, orb, bump.
And range healing item up for Puck.
Almost.
Once he has a Dagon, he's pretty threatening. Honestly, the Puck mixed in with the nukes coming out from Mirana as well. It's a lot of damage. We almost have the Manta up for Mirana. Some of these other heroes are getting their items, and that's good for Cloud9. Find their strong initiation up against the Tinker. Like, it's always very risky. Once he has that Blink Dagger, trying to counter it with a Blink Dagger of your own and the Puck initiating, that's always very, very risky.
And with Volba finishing up his SADBOYS in just a short moment too, he's going to even more risky. And Shadow Shaman's with his own Blink Dagger, so now Wave 2 is now the secondary initiator, and they don't always have to rely on the Bat Rider being the man at the front lines. And MVS 2.1k goals. Mana style, because I still really feel like Eternal Envy can be controlled before he's able to trigger up a Mana style. A Mana style doesn't like break free of anything that like to throw at him.
And it's also going to be going down pretty quickly when March of Machines comes into these team fights.
Rotation to a Diffusal Blade. With the Orb of Venom, we may see a Fallout Greed Spectre, and I know it's unconventional to say it, but just because he has the Orb early on,
you want to see Scotty.
That's what's in the back of my mind right now.
I mean, it fits with the tank build, but I think it comes online a little bit too late. But
yeah, that was my problem with it too, where I'm just like, yeah. Wait, jump in by Bone 7, the Haunt, and there's your Dagon kill. They kill off the Rubik. Now they can move over towards TC. Low on life, Wave falls back through 3 heroes. It's a good match. Surplus from Wave 2 takes the Highlight Die, as well as Eternal Envy. They're in well over their heads. TC Bait able to give us a back out to safety. Then 2. And C9, it was a great initiation, but then things went wrong.
That was such a good play by TC. He played that so well, knowing that his Lincolns would protect him.
Oh, Bone 7!
Oh, nice.
The jump in from Wave 2, the arrow will fly up, and the range creep takes the damage for it. So TC, he can still be over aggressive here. They get the secondary Hex over an Owie. Blink down, laser, more Bling waveforms in. The Shallow Grave will go, and Bulba's going to keep his vision up, and then Rocket. Oh, it's just a second too early. TC had to use the Adaptive Strike, but they still get even extra kills after that mid-fight began. That's a big, big win for them. They just hit 7.5k experience earned and over 6,000 gold earned. And another arrow flies astray.
Once they finish off this tier 1 tower, it can mean shotgun for more blink, or you go for more auto-attacking build. I mean, it's possible. And this is Cloud9's biggest hope, is that they can go late game, because their mid game is totally screwed now that shotgun is going to be up. Their mid game is screwed, so they have to go late game with Spectre, Mirana, plus a Wisp. It's decent late game, but it's not ideal.
Yeah. Actually tweeted me out tonight and said, "Hey Toby, like, you're being so more overly negative this evening." And it's like, no, it's being a little bit more of a realist.
That's it, Toby, join the dark side.
It's just. But you look at it.
We used to have those fights all the time.
Yeah, we did. Where I was like,
we were Skype calls.
It's like ever the optimist, and then Cap just like, no, you're Satan. Just like jump in, top lane, Eternal Envy's in a lot of trouble right now. Their initiation is perfect. Bone 7! Huge Dream Coil! Highlight Die wants to try and kill him on 2. They only got one. Wave is on 39 life points. But this is when you lose up to
When realism kicks your ass.
I hate your realism.
You know what? That might have been a great play from Bone 7.
That was huge.
And if Team Liquid were not 10,000 gold ahead, that would have wiped Team Liquid. But they're far enough ahead that every single hero survived with about 200 health, and that's when the recovery kicks in. And Team Liquid completely turned what was such a beautiful play from Bone 7.
It was amazing from him, and I'm so with you. I'm so with you. And this is one of those things too, where as a caster we can go, you know what, sometimes realism, you gotta stick with it. But when moments happen like that, and you're being fully realistic, you realize that Fantasia was a real world. That Walt Disney is in fact frozen in ice, and they will find out how to cure cancer one day, thaw him out, and Walt Disney will come back to life again. It is the story of children right here, which can happen with moments like that. But Liquid, they just keep moving in again. Eternal Envy on the bottom lane. He's staying alive, however, but both 7, well, now he's next up.
Koifa even lassoed a creep. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but Koifa grabbed a creep there, and they still almost killed Envy.
Oh, man.
Tower has fallen.
TC takes out the tier 2 tower. In the meantime, they're pinging out to go bottom lane. Sing wants to, but he can't hit an arrow. He needs to move up so much higher. He throws out the arrow, but they saw him coming from a mile away.
Tower is under attack.
Safety, but there's just no joy to be had on the map for C9.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
You really see the downside of these very, very defensive and mid to late game oriented supports like Wisp, like Dazzle. The downside being when you see an opening like that, 2 supports at a bottom lane and you're smoked up, 3v2, ready to go, like you should be able to jump in, grab those 2 heroes. However, the initiation was entirely on Sing Sing. He had to hit an arrow, otherwise they were just going to walk away because the 2 supports provided nothing to be able to help out that initiation. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Man, that's one big pig. And then chicken's on the menu. Then pig's back on the menu. Liquid. Oh! Roshan!
That was a very angry Roshan.
Look at the size of him! And he just like evaporates! Someone gave Roshan both Grow as well as BKB effects, and then also said, you know what? Have the presence of the Dark Lord. It just gets so intimidating. How to break Roshan.
Well done. Dagon 2 is now up for Bulba. So if you want gun, this is like double-barreled shotgun now. You have shotgun coming out from Morphling, Ethereal Blade, his combo, everything else, and then go ahead and throw in the extra Dagon damage onto an Ethereal Bladed target. You're dead. That target is dead. Yeah. Dead. Evaporated.
I think you missed a bed in that one, man. Like,
vaporized.
That's like, all you need is like salmon moose, and then it's like even more dead.
The problem I saw with this lineup is that if you went Radiance, you were exposed to Tinker Morphling. If you went for tank, you wouldn't provide enough presence going on early
Mid
on.
lane.
Down.
Goodbye, Zone 7.
Whoa!
The tether was attempted by Pylai Die and the relocate to try and save him. You can't do a relocate save.
At least he's got mech. At least he's got mech. It is now up if he wants to buy it.
I remember what the Monty Python boys always say. Oh, TC's coming down again. E-Blade's back off cooldown. Next! Only 2,000 looks like a prize target, with already Quotefa searching on the sidelines for a kill. Cover fire. The Firefly is going to wear off, so we can't get the drag back anymore. But the fortification is at least making Liquid work hard for this. They're not getting this game as a freebie. With an Agency Maul on the Morphling, and now a full Mana Style back on the Courier for him. Aegon arriving for the Tinker. How do I do it?
Always look on. Oh, never mind.
Envy. Hey, Telegraph will always save you. Highlight Die. Relocate comes off cooldown, but the jump in goes. Again, nice initiation by the Pug, but he just cannot survive. And Sing Sing, even with the BKB, there's no way he can survive that. So it wasn't even a BKB. He just glowed orange from the quick death, the searing. Just...
Puck got lassoed, and he did, like, the lasso lasted about a quarter of a second because then the Dagon came in from Tinker and just blew him up. But Cloud9 looking a little lost. Team Liquid, though, they look great. I think both strategies, both drafts, I mean, because this is the big change-up for Team Liquid. This is what the drama was all about. Is Fluff wanted to be the captain. He wanted to be the drafter. He wanted to be the one calling the shots.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it looks really good. I think that both drafts were smart. I saw a plan, and they executed that plan brilliantly.
Yeah, I have no complaints with it either, man. Like, this is one of those things where sometimes you can just lack a focus as a team. I don't know if that to be as public as it ended up being, but like, you do have some very opinionated people over in Team Liquid. So, yeah, it's very understandable that maybe something can be a little bit more drastically done to get control over the team. And it's not like the first time that something like this has happened. I even remember the days with, like, Artstar as well as Puppy. When Artstar left Na'Vi, Puppy was looking to take control, but Divorce was thinking maybe he was used. That's just cheap morphling. But yeah, like, there were all of these kind of problems with, like, team dynamics, and you've got to have a structure, you've got to have a one direct focus. If that's just one person, like making it a dictatorship, then so be it. Liquid, they've really bounced back up now. I think a lot of people are going to be a lot more careful with the way they bet on the next matches, because Team Liquid, they're looking in fine form. And with that too, they managed to go like with the 2-0 result through tonight. If I actually just check out our standings at the conclusion of this, we now have Team Liquid at 4-0. Up through the second group stage in third position after they were number one. They were number one